Make a decision, because the pastor's going to ask you before you put those rings on and do those vows, through better or for worse, right? So how am I going to love her as Christ loved the church? I've got to be willing to die to myself every day. I tell guys all the time, kids as I would call you, anybody under 35 is a kid to me. Are you dying to self every single day? Are you putting your needs before hers, or are you putting hers before yours? Again, learn from me, man. I messed up my first marriage. I was a terrible husband to a wonderful woman. Now I'm a great husband to a wonderful woman. See the difference? It was never her, it was me. That's why I'm doing this video. Hey, welcome to another episode of What's Your Problem? Now, today, I don't know if it's a problem I'm going to handle, but it's a situation, if you want to say that. So here's the situation. I'm getting married next week. What do I do? All right, and now I'm just going to handle, I'm not talking about women, I'm going to talk about guys. Why? Because I'm a dude. I think I can speak to guys about guys, right? So you're getting married next week. What do you do? All right, so I'm going to give them the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order for you so you'll know. So number one, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. I got that from Wedding Crashers. It's funny. What is it? Vince is sitting there going, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't feel that way at all. I've been with my wife 15 years. It's absolutely wonderful. I was married twice. First time I married a wonderful woman. I was the problem, not her. So I wished I would have been sitting in front of me, the 50-plus-year-old, when I was 23. That would have been great. So now I'm going to go over it with you. So what's the first thing that you need to do before you get married? Well, you have to make a decision to be the man that she needs. Yeah, I said that because what's the bad rap between the generations now? I'm tail end of baby boom. We were the hippies. Now I'm at the tail end, but I hit the hippie thing. But we understood what it was to be married, and now we're at X, Y, Z. So we go millennial, X, Y, Z, whatever it is. I think a lot of folks have lost what it means to be a man. You got to be the man she needs, the man she wants, the man she's going to need. Now, how do you know what that is? I talk to young guys all the time, and when I say young, 35 and under, they don't really get what it means to be a man. I was blessed. My grandpa was born in 1900. My great-grandma, 1875. So I got a pretty good spectrum of years, right? And my dad and my grandpa were both men's men. I mean, they were tough guys. And my heroes were Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, Lee Marvin. You see a theme here, right? George C. Scot. I like tough guys and westerns and war pictures. I didn't know what a man bun was. Had not been invented yet. I did not go to a manicurist, which I do now. Mani-pedis. I rock those now, man. I understand. My wife is evicting me from my tough guy life. But be the man she needs. What's that mean? Why don't you ask her? Yeah, believe it or not, women will tell you. I wrote a book about it. What men don't get about women. I wrote a book on this. Ask her. Ask her what she wants in a man. Now, you also have to ask your dad. You probably got a dad, grandpa, a mentor, somebody. What's it really mean to be a man? You got to protect her. All right, so be the man she needs, right? So you're going to protect her. You're going to love her. You're going to care for her. You're going to shut up when she needs you to shut up. What am I talking about? You have to decide, husband or coach. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of fights start, especially young couples. Young couples, I hear this all the time. By the time we get older, we've worked this out. Why does he keep trying to solve all my problems? All I want to do is talk. Ever heard that? And I'm sure ladies will watch this. Ladies, you've ever said that? So you devise a plan, and this is what I do with my wife. I'll say before she starts, because she'll have a bad day, she wants to tell me about it, right? She just needs me to open my ears, keep my mouth shut. Remember, mouth to ears. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. You got one mouth, 2 ears. Listen twice as much as you talk. It's very simple, right? Simple rules. So she comes strong. She's had a hard day at work. All she wants to talk. So you say, husband or coach? If she says husband, zip it. You act like that thing is super glued so tight that King Kong could not get this thing open. Can't argue if all you're doing is listening and not talking, right? Now, at the end, once she's poured it all out, she may get up and leave the room. Okay, that's cool. She got it off her chest. Or she may go, now that I've gotten this all the way out, could you help me? Now you're coach. Now, leave the emotion at the door. Just say, from a non-emotional standpoint, what's logical sense. Because they don't need the tough guy. They don't, okay, this is happening at work. It's something going on at work. Relax. Logical, logistical steps. That's all she needs. Now, to be the man she needs, you got to protect her too. And what's that mean? Nobody messes with her. I like what Kenneth Copeland said about Gloria. You mess with my wife, you can be graveyard dead. Same thing with my wife. Nobody gets near my wife. My wife's the greatest thing ever happened to me. I treat her that way, and I'll treat you that way. Very simple. See how this works? And then I'm sure she's going to give you a list. I mean, I set my wife down and I said, what do you want? What do you want? All right, so, okay, we can do that. Because if I'm going to be what she needs and what she wants, don't I want to know what she wants? See, I'm smart enough to ask the questions, right? So, all right, which segues into the next one. I wrote a book about this too. Love her as Christ loved the church, Ephesians 5:25. When I do marriage seminars, or when I sit down with a carol, because I do weddings, I'm a pastor. So I'll sit down and we'll go over this. And a lot of times I charge to the guys before I do the ladies, because if you meet her needs and her wants, if you're the guy she wants and needs, and you're the guy that loves her as Christ loved the church and Christ died for the church, right? So now that's a stepped up responsibility, because a lot of people will want to look at Ephesians 5 and just read, ladies, submit to your husbands. Okay, that's great, but you got to remember what submit means. Again, it's not finger pointing and you better do this, woman. That's not submission. It's the both of us deciding that we love each other enough and we honor God enough to meet each other's needs and wants and be there for each other. There's a whole list of things I give soon-to-be married couples. And a lot of times I've done this way before the week before the wedding, right? Because we're a week out now, so you got to think through this, right? So it's love her as Christ loved the church. So she's going to have wants and needs. She's going to get sick. She's going to throw up on you. She's going to have your kids. You're going to see some things in the delivery room you never thought was even possible to ever see outside of a biology class video. There's a lot of bumps and scrapes and things you're going to go through. And you're going to have stupid arguments and intense arguments, and you're going to go through life and endure things you never thought possible. But what happens if you said, I'm going to love her as Christ loved the church? She's going to be mad at you when she shouldn't be. She's going to come in mad from work and take it out on you. She's going to cook food, chances are, that she can't eat, that's inedible. She's going to wake up and not have the greatest breath in the world. I know it's a shock, isn't it? I had no idea they weren't perfect when they went to bed. She's not always going to have a makeup. Her hair's not always going to be done. All right, so love her as Christ loved the church. You got to make a decision, because the pastor's going to ask you before you put those rings on and do those vows, through better or for worse, right? So how am I going to love her as Christ loved the church? I've got to be willing to die to myself every day. I tell guys all the time, kids as I would call you, anybody under 35 is a kid to me. Are you dying to self every single day? Are you putting your needs before hers, or are you putting hers before yours? Again, learn from me, man. I messed up my first marriage. I was a terrible husband to a wonderful woman. Now I'm a great husband to a wonderful woman. See the difference? It was never her, it was me. That's why I'm doing this video. If somebody would have sat down and told me these things prior to me getting married, things probably would have turned out differently. Now, I'm glad I'm married to my second wife. I don't take it that way. But if it's to death do us part, and the only way you can get out of this is if she kills you, don't give her a reason to kill you. It's kind of like Goodfellas. She's not going to divorce him, but she will kill him. Don't give her a reason to shoot you, hit you with a frying pan in the face, whatever it is, whatever her method is. Poison seems to be I've seen Snapped, the show. Poison seems to be the method now of ladies killing men. All right, so if you love her as Christ loved the church and you die to self every day and then lift her up, can you go wrong? Every day my regiment for my wife, to lift my wife up and die to self. I get up, fix coffee. My wife doesn't like coffee, only mine, so I make her coffee. And then I'll make her some breakfast. My wife can't cook, so we handle that. And then I'll make lunch, and then I'll make dinner. And if she wants a snack, I'll make the snack. I get up every day and make the bed. She does and I do. And then I'll do certain tasks that she doesn't like to do. Do I like doing this every single day? Ask me. And the answer is no. Now, what did I say though? Die to self, lift her up. I'm dying to myself so I can make sure. Now, again, I told the church and the pastor, this is the most important thing that ever happened to me, my wife, right? She's the greatest thing ever happened to me on this earth outside of Christ. I better act like it. I'm acting like it by doing the things that she needs done for me to show her I love her, right? So that I'm doing. I'm dying to self because whether I feel good or not, I get up and do it. Why? She's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I roll over every day and I do stupid things to make her laugh, but I'll go, is every lady mad at you right now? And she'll go, why? I said, well, because you woke up sexier than any other woman in the world. Why aren't they mad? And she comes back with the same thing every time. You're so stupid. But does she mind me saying these things? Of course not. So I'm dying to self to make her feel better. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you is establish the rules up front. How are we going to do business together? I tell people this all the time. Getting married is like merging two companies. Okay, one company does this, the other company does this. You've got two different viewpoints. You were raised by two different sets of parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles, and you may have come from different cultures. Look at me, I've dated every race on the planet. Black, white, Asian, Latin, Russian, you name it, I've gone out with them. And I dated 5 different continents, probably 5. So I ran the gamut, right? So what's the difference between men and women in different races? Nothing. Women are still women and men are still men. Now, there's some sociological things, but we're not even going to talk about that. So establish the rules going in. I'm going to tell you a funny rule that we have in my house. My wife looked at me one time, and people ask me all the time, why did you go out with your wife? I saw her boobs, man. I saw in the clothes. I didn't see them naked. People always go, did you have a religious reason? Did God just tell you? No, man, I saw that. I said, I got to see this naked. I'm going to invest some time into this. I'm being funny, but sort of. But she looked at me and she goes, all right, I need to tell you something before we get married. I can't cook. I'd eaten some of the meals. I understood that. She goes, so I'll make a deal with you. We can have sex anytime you want to through the duration of our marriage. If I don't have to learn how to cook and you'll do it. How fast do you think? I said, well, I'll do the cooking. I ran this by all the coaches. I used to be a high school coach. So I'm meeting with the coaches one day. And they're all bragging about their wives cooking. And I said, well, here's the deal I got. She said if I cooked, she would have sex anytime I wanted to. Every guy in the group stopped bragging about their wives cooking and said, oh my gosh, can she talk to our wives? Cooking's overrated. I'll do the cooking. See how this works? So you do the rules up front. What are the rules? How are you going to communicate? It's no different than when you go to work. They go over the rules, the regulations, what your benefit plan is, everything, right? They don't leave anything for chance when you get hired at a company. HR handles that. Well, you got to do it with each other. You got to go over how were we raised? What is our belief system? How are we going to raise the kids? How are we going to communicate with each other? How do I want to be shown love? How do you want to be shown love? What do we do if we get in an argument? How do we pre-fight? I always tell couples this. And unfortunately, a lot of Christian counseling only goes over how to fight fair. Let me tell you something. There is no fair fight. You get angry, it's all about winning. I'm in it to win it. Now I'm going to say anything it takes to hurt you and win. Okay? That's not going to help make a marriage last. So let's do this. Let's decide, all right, we know we're going to argue, just like in a business. We know engineering might not get along with sales and HR might not see where I'm going, but we all work out how we're going to communicate that. Same thing here. I tell couples, sit down and make a list of the 15 things, without a shadow of a doubt, you probably already argued about, didn't find a solution. Now, sit at your kitchen table with a legal pad and go, all right, this problem we have now, we've argued about it. What's a non-emotional, joint-decided solution with no emotion? What makes the best sense? Write it out. Go through each problem. Now, when you start to get irritated with this, go, wait. We've already pre-done this. We've already worked this deal out, just like a business. So now we've decided how this ends. So now, can you get mad? Can you holler and scream? Can you not speak to each other for 3 days over a pre-done solution? Well, the answer is no. All right, so now we've handled that. Now we have to sit and go, what do I want to do the rest of my life? Well, what do you want to do the rest of your life? What's your purpose, plan, direction? Well, what's your purpose, plan, direction? What's your skill set? What's your skill set? How do our skill sets work together? See, God's designed marriage for this skill set to complement this skill set. Do yours. Sometimes we marry the wrong people. So stuff's to evaluate before you say I do, okay? So have you had these talks? I tell young couples all the time, don't have sex. Here's why. If you're having sex, all the things you should have talked about, you won't. All you're going to talk about is how good it is to be in bed, how good an orgasm feels, whatever it is. Now, if you're not having sex, you got to deal with all the other stuff. What are the rules on money? How are we going to raise our kids? What's discipline really look like? Are we disciplined? How do we see employment? Where do we want to live? Do I want to take that job transfer? Am I in the military? What do I need to do about this? How am I going to deal with parents? All these things have to be pre-discussed before I do. Again, repeat after me. All these things have to be pre-discussed before I say I do. Do we understand that? All right, let me get the last one. Decide one thing, no matter what, we're going to do this. I talk to a lot of people now. They're getting married with the idea, if it doesn't work out, if I don't like it, if it's not what I want, I can just leave. And it's not how marriage was designed. Again, I'm going to take credit for this. I left my first wife no choice. And thank God she didn't kill me. She probably should have killed me. I was Peter Pan. And she was lovely. My first wife was wonderful. Still wonderful, just married somebody else. Somebody who got how wonderful she was. So I fixed what was wrong with me going into this one. So you have to make the decision. I know there's going to be bumps and scrapes, and there's going to be things we go through. And our camera crew is quite young. And I always say, you're in your 20s now. You'll be in your 50s one day. I cannot tell you what you're going to go through. All I can tell you is go ahead and predetermine that whatever it is, you're going to tough it out. You're going to make it. And regardless of how tough it is, you're still going to go through this. Nobody told my wife that I was going to be sick and dying before we got married. Nobody wants to hear that. We didn't know how bad it was going to be. We didn't realize I wouldn't work for 4 years. We didn't realize a lot of things, that we'd lose everything, but we stuck through it. Why? She loved me. I loved her. She decided that I was worth sticking through this. You're 1 week out, and there's a lot running through your head, and you sit and think, you come up with good and bad scenarios. And then, unfortunately, when we're younger, under 35, all of our friends seem to think that they should give us advice. Who should we not be listening to? Yeah, our friends. Yeah, because a lot of times it's bad, just like wedding crashers. Don't get it, don't do it. Vince Vaughn, and you saw who played his wife in the movie. I mean, she's absolutely beautiful. You don't want that guy talking to you, because chances are you found the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And you're getting ready to tell the world that she's the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And then you're going to show the world she's still the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And then you're going to grow old with her. Well, if you have all this, if you have the I do and I'm not going to, and I'm going to stay with this already worked out, you grow old together. I try to tell kids all the time, being in our mid to late 50s now, as the time we shoot this or by the time we cut this podcast, it's amazing what's changed from the time I was 25. It's amazing who I am, the way I see the world, what I've gone through, the bumps and bruises, the scars, the way I see the world. And I didn't think it was feasible when I was younger to grow old with somebody. No, now I know it's the only way to do it. And then you throw in pheromones and biochemistry and how we grow together and how our hormones start to increase together and how we can read each other's minds, how I can know something's wrong with her and she's not even here. See, those things you have to grow old together to get to know. And it's absolutely wonderful. So I can tell you this, you're a week out from marriage. If you're marrying the one God intended for you to marry, there is nothing better that could happen to you on this planet. Now, if you're marrying the one that Lucifer has planned for you, there's nothing worse that could happen to you on this planet. It's very simple. Biggest determinant of poverty, who you marry. Worst case scenario, you can go on the internet and look up every worst case scenario you could ever find. However, a week out, chances are, hopefully you've vetted everybody. A lot of people don't. Don't do the Britney Spears. Go marry somebody in Vegas. Don't do that. But chances are you've vetted these things and you sat down with a priest, a pastor, or somebody. But just in case, go ahead and sit down again and say, are we set? Are we ready? There's things that I can't cover here because, look, man, let's say you're 25. By the time you get to 58, there's a lot of stuff I can't cover. That's 33 years, man. You're going to raise kids, have grandkids. I can't tell you what's coming up, where you're going to live, what you're going to make, where you're going to move to, what's going to happen with the kids, what sports they'll play, none of that. What I can tell you is, if you meant I do at the service, I do. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it every day, and I don't care hell or high water, I'm going to love her, and I'm going to do this. Then we're all good. All right, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up with our time together. I hope this helped. I only gave you 4 things. Now, when I sit down with a couple, I make a couple meet with me 8 to 12 times. Now I do stuff over the phone or Skype or whatever it is, but I have a whiteboard and I like to put that couple in front of the whiteboard. And I like to get everything out on paper so we can go ahead and get this done, because I want to make sure these two understand that they're entering a lifetime contract and there is no exit strategy. And keep this in mind. Home is not pre-fight stuff. Hopefully the only thing you're arguing over is on Friday night, where do you want to eat? I don't know. Where do you want to eat? I don't know. Okay, I'll take those arguments. And there's ways to fix those too. But there's no way to fix a lack of commitment and a lack of understanding that she's the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And then it's your job from here on out to teach her, tell her, touch her, hit all 5 senses on the fact that she's the greatest thing that ever happened to you. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm Scott Farrell. Hey, man, thanks for being part of What's Your Problem? I'm hoping to solve you some problems with solving this problem ahead of schedule. So now that you know you're a week out from your wedding, you know what to do, man, and you're ready to go. If you have any questions, go on by my website, scottfarrell.com, SCOTFERRELL.com. All right, I'm Scott Farrell signing off. Take care. I'll see you later.